Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Chao with the Democratic Chronicle. And with us this morning is Andrew Kachaylo. He is the president of the Greater Rochester Association of Realtors. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Mary. Appreciate you having me on.
So we're here to talk about the real estate market amid this coronavirus shutdown. How has that impacted the way realtors do business?
We've been following the Empire State Development's guidance on what's essential and what isn't essential. So to say it's been a rocky road from the start on the 22nd when they closed us down as being non-essential to the reopening as essential and then limited capacity. We're kind of everybody's kind of learning as we go, but we've embraced this the new way of doing business, and the new way of talking to people is through video.
Great. So are realtors still connecting with your clients, and are clients concerned that they can't see houses, they can't sell their homes?
I think it's a mix from the members that I've spoke to, and as a practicing realtor myself, we've all adapted. There's some clients who have gone into kind of hibernation. They're just waiting. They're watching the market, but since they're not able to go, they're not comfortable in doing virtual showings. But then there's a number of people that are out there. They're doing the virtual tours, the virtual showings, and they've really worked out well. I've gotten some good feedback on the ones that I've done, both as a listing side and as a buyer side. We've had good feedback.
Great. You talk about the market. What's your prediction coming out of this, I guess, slumber? Not so much slumber, the shutdown.
Sure.
Is it going to be 2008 again? Will prices dip? Or do you think the market is going to roar back again?
I think that the buyers that I've spoken to and the agents and members that I've spoken to, everybody has both listings waiting, getting prepared. There's a lot of painting, a lot of cleaning being done right now. And so that's from a seller's perspective, is I think everybody's anticipating the market to reopen, and those buyers are getting pre-approved. The lenders are still essential business. So the buyers are getting, their approvals in line, and everybody is really just waiting for, it's almost like a marathon, waiting for that shotgun start. And the buyers and sellers are all going to be out there, and it's going to be busy.
Now, this is traditionally the busiest time of the year for realtors here in the Rochester region. So we're stalled out a little bit. Whenever the market opens, whether it's, let's say, June, July, August, September, will there be a backlog in business?
Yeah, so the life cycle of a real estate transaction is anywhere from 45 to 75 days long. So what's going to happen is any of the limited amount of business that people are doing, the realtors are doing right now, will start to close mid-May, mid-June into early July. So there'll be a dip in sales activity that you'll see in the market later in the spring. But I think then once that opens back up, you're going to see a big spike. So what we would normally see this time of year, you'll probably see in June.
Now, if you're a seller thinking about listing in this market, is it a smart thing to list now? And I'm thinking about this because we have so much time on our hands right now. We're all perusing our phones and iPads constantly. So maybe you fall in that love of the house virtually and then go see it when it opens.
Yeah, there are, depending on the way that the showing is conducted, you have the benefit of the seller who's doing the filming right now. So you can ask, the buyers are asking lots of very good questions that you would never be able to ask, like about the furnace or tell me about this. And you have the person who's in the house. The listing agent's usually the second best person because they don't live there, but they're the client of the seller. When we have the seller in this environment where the agents are all on the phone along with the buyers, the feedback is really, you get much more information this way than you ever would get, because it's a real conversation, and you can show me the pipes, show me the ceiling, stuff like that. So it's really, I'm enjoying the way that's going now so far.
Now, interest rates are pretty low, not historical, but it's very, very low. Does this help the market when it does come back?
Yeah, every drop in interest rates increases a buyer's buying power.
Mhm.
So, every drop means that the same payment is now worth more to the mortgage. So I think that in some respects that the lower interest rates and any stimulus that might be associated with the recovery that'll come after the world opens,
Mhm.
I think that demand is going to be fairly strong from a buyer's perspective, and the market is going to be very competitive.
Now, as you know, I follow the market very closely, and January, February of this year, as it has been the past few years, it was very, very strong, low inventory, and
Absolutely.
people were still getting the multiple offers, and it was go, go, go. And all of a sudden, it just came to a halt. Can you bring that mojo back when the market reopens?
I got to be honest. I'm just speaking personally, but in the last 2 weeks, I've had 8 offers on one property and 6 offers on another property, and not one person has been inside the house.
Wow, where are these homes that you've?
One's in Brighton,
Okay.
and one is out in Wayne County in the town of Ontario.
So you could list your house now and people will see it virtually and you could possibly get a sale.
Yeah, my advice is to a seller is you have to prepare the same way today that you would in the hot market. You have to stage your house, thin it out, and prepare it properly. And you still have to be razor sharp on your pricing. So no different than any market, good,
Mhm.
bad, '08. I went through '98, I went through '88. These markets, you still, as long as the seller is right, there are going to be a buyer for you. And
Now, what if you're a buyer out there? You've been beat out on other offers and you've been pounding the pavement looking for that perfect house. Is this an opportunity?
I personally, again, this is my opinion from what I've seen, is that the number of sellers that we have lost in the market and the number of buyers that we have lost has been similarly equal. So
Mhm.
that I think the pie is just a smaller pie, but I don't think the tables have shifted on demand. So I think it's going to be strong for sellers. But Rochester's never been a market where people have gone bonkers and skyrocketed and paid exorbitant prices. They've been fairly conservative as a market.
Now, let's talk about what's hot in this Rochester market. Of course, walkable neighborhoods and North Winton Village being very hot. I mean, what kind of trends are you seeing when it comes to housing? What are people looking for?
Most people are looking for done. There's the ones that need work, they need updating. Those are the ones I think that we're seeing more pressure on people to look for a lower price or a better deal because they have to do the work. But again, that's also typical of the markets when it's good and when it's bad. The first pick for kickball, so to speak, are going to be the ones that are all done, move in ready. Um, because the cost of doing that work, a lot of buyers have the money to buy a house, but not necessarily the money to put in 20,000 to fix it up after the fact. So I think we're seeing that the houses that are done and prepared are the ones that are going to go first.
And what about pricing and price point? Is there a certain price point that is more popular than other price points?
Anything under 300,000 is very popular. The mid twos, very hard to find. You can find the 120s and 130s and those kinds of houses. You can find those. I think the 400 plus price point will see some pressure because those people typically are not quick to make decisions. They want what they want and they wait and they'll just wait this thing out because a lot of them don't have to move and
Okay.
they don't have to buy.
Okay, so wrapping this up, let's talk about your advice. If you're a seller in this market now, or if you're a buyer in this market, what's your best advice?
My best advice for a seller is just like a contractor would tell you: measure twice and cut once. You only get one shot to make that first impression. And for all these buyers that are on the sidelines waiting for you, you got to make sure that you are the best version of you that you could be. So prepare. You can't over prepare right now. The flowers are blooming, the grass is turning green, mulch is being delivered. Like your wedding day.
Okay. And if you're buyer in this market.
And yes, so for a buyer, prepare, get with your lenders, make sure, don't make any rash decisions, don't buy new cars, don't refinance, don't spend money. If at all possible, you don't want to change your financial picture. If you were pre-approved prior to this virus situation, COVID-19, don't make big changes. Layoffs, people that are laid off, that's a lender thing. You're going to have to go back to work, but there's plenty of essential people that jobs have not changed. They're getting overtime, and financial pictures are going to remain the same. So I think for the same thing for a buyer, prepare, and be ready for a dogfight, because there's going to be multiple offers in many markets.
Thank you very much. This
Oh,
is
that was great. Yeah.
Andrew Kachaylo from the Greater Rochester Association of Realtors talking about the real estate market amid the coronavirus shutdown. And I'm Mary Chao with the Democrat and Chronicle. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mary.